Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another feature match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be a round 2 feature match from the 9th edition of my online Discord tournament, and this time it's going to be between Sully19 on Earth Machines versus Shoshan on Phantom Knight Ogdoadic actually, and do correct me if I'm pronouncing that archetype wrong because I just genuinely have no idea. But anyways, if you guys are interested in participating in the next tournament, definitely feel free to check out the link to my Discord server. You can always find that in the description box below. But let's go and get started without any further ado. So it looks like the PK Ogdoadic deck did win the RPS, so they're going to choose to go first this match. And also, bear with me if I'm not the most familiar with the Ogdoadic cards. I really haven't actually seen them that much in action so far, so this will kind of be the first crack at casting them. But anyways, the opening hand for PK Ogdoadic going first is going to be Ash, Water Lily, Fogblade, Snake Rain, and Chaos Space. So, pretty interesting hand so far. Chaos Space isn't live, unfortunately, here, unless there's a way to search a card to pitch for it. But Snake Rain by itself should be full combo. People were hyping this up quite a lot. And the Water Lily is a nice extender as far as I know. So, these two cards should be a pretty decent end board. Not really that much Phantom Knight going on here. And then the opening hand for Earth Machines going second is going to be Urgent Schedule, Forbidden Droplet, Ice Dragon's Prison, Machina Redeployment, and Machina Overdrive. So hand looks pretty solid for going second actually. Has, way to break the board, a way to kind of help for going second, and just more starters. So really, really good hands from both players, I think. We'll get to see kind of the full pop-off from the side of PK Ogdoadic, and then Earth Machine will do its best attempt to break it. So Snake Rain, going to start things off. Going to pitch the Fogblade and then send a whole bunch of reptiles to grave. So it's going to be Curse, Naoya, Nunu, and Alarit. So the two of the level 8s and two of the level 4s. Gonna go for Nunu since there's no monsters on the field. It gets summoned itself back from graveyard, but it gets banished when it leaves the field, and also you're locked into summoning reptiles while it's face up. And also has a hand effect where you can send a card from your hand to the grave to mill a opposite type of reptile, so being dark since this card is light, and I believe the dark one does the opposite. Yeah, this one sends a light one. And then following that, we're going to see Curse being activated, so that's going to tribute the Nunu, going to summon itself, and then if it's summoned, it gets to target level 4 or lower Ogdoadic in grave, and then summon it, so Naoya is going to be brought back. And then Naoya is going to be activated to search a Ogdoadic spell or trap when it's summoned, so it's going to go for another copy of the Water Lily, so I assume that this is the only target. And then Ogdoadic Alarit is going to be summoned next, so that's going to be attributing the Naoya away to summon itself. And then it's going to go ahead and recycle back the banished reptiles. I think these also have downsides if I remember correctly. So yeah, your opponent can summon a monster from their grave if you summon this one. And then for this one, they can add a monster from grave to hand. Obviously here it won't matter, but for going second it definitely will. But let's see, they're going to go and link summon into Verite Anaconda. Alright, pretty interesting. I guess it's just Dragoon, or unless there's a reptile fusion that I'm not aware of. Well, I guess we'll just wait and see. Water Lily going to be activated next. That's going to go and send a copy of the Ogdo Abyss, and then summon one back, so we're going to bring it right back. And then if this card's in your grave, you could tribute 3 monsters to bring it back. And then while it's face up on the field once, as a quick effect, you can send all monsters from the field to the grave except face up monsters summoned from the graveyard. So this is kind of just a massive non-targeting board wipe, which is pretty cool. And then following that, we're going to see Verite pay 2,000. And okay, it's just Dragoon. Nothing fun here. This is Dragoon. I think they actually forgot to send the Red Ice Fusion. Probably won't come up, but only will if they actually end up, I guess, drawing the Red Ice Fusion itself. So you're going to pass in this, so this is like 3 interruptions, which isn't horrible. I assume this is not the full combo because we didn't see any of the PK stuff whatsoever. But this is like pretty decent setup for just the Ogdoadic cards, I guess. And then the top deck for Earth Machine is going to be Bullet Train. So this is a really, really good hand for sure. They're going to go with Redeployment, pitching Overdrive. That's going to be met with Ash. They're going to chain Urgent Schedule to that. And then the Dragoon is going to negate it. And then they're going to droplet, sending away the 2 spells on board to negate everything that's relevant. So now we are in a pretty good position of where Earth Machine. We have 0 interruptions to worry about. I guess the card in hand is unknown. But 1 interruption max when you have this many resources is pretty manageable. They're going to link summon the Harvester and the Trencher that was summoned off of the Urgent Schedule since it did resolve. Go for the Ancient Hero Ballista, which will grab a search for Box. And then Box in turn will grab a search here. The pickup is going to be not Dozer, since Dozer doesn't have 500 attack or defense, so it's not actually a valid search target. Yeah, so they're going to take that back and go for Tunneler here. They're then going to Trencher in Graveyard, banish itself to bring back an Infinitrack. They're going to pick Harvester, obviously, only target. And then Harvester is going to activate its effect for Dozer. Yeah, so they can pick it up there, no problem. Next up, they're going to be thinking here before activating Dozer in hand. That's going to tribute away the Ballista to summon itself. And then on field, it's going to activate to summon a copy of Trencher from deck. So just getting more plays for next turn. Those two are going to be overlaid for a copy of River Stormer. So that's going to add an Earth Machine to hand. The pick is going to be Dairy Crane, since Bullet Train's already in hand as well. So lots of really good setup here. They're going to then go for Goliath off of the River Stormer, and then tribute away the Goliath for the Tunneler. Followed that up with a Bullet Train being special summoned, since they only control Earth Machines, and then that triggers a Dairy Crane in hand to summon itself. So there's lots of bodies here. Gonna go for, the Gustav Max. Alright, so they're gonna go and burn for 2k, and then make Libe and just attack over that poor defenseless Verite Anaconda. So you're gonna detach Dairy Crane even, and then just pop the Ogdo Abyss while we're at it, and then go for the Libe. Detach, become 6k, and then just smack over that Verite for a game. So game number 1 actually goes to Earth Machine. Now, again, I don't think we got to see the full combo from this deck for PK Ogdoadic, so curious as to how the PK cards will interact there and what they are trying to achieve in this deck. But Earth Machine did successfully break the board off the back of that Urgent Schedule, Forbidden Droplet opening, so pretty strong stuff. Looks like we're going to move into game 2, where Earth Machine is actually going to be forced to go first here. If you guys are enjoying this video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this. But the opening hand for Earth Machines going first this time around is going to be Overdrive, Ancient Gearbox, Brutal Dozer, Dark Ruler No More, and Machina Redeployment. So drawing these two again, the two Machina spell traps. They clearly thought that they were going second, I feel, since they have Dark Ruler in their deck right now. And drawing Ancient Gearbox is also not ideal, but this is still playable for sure. Definitely not bad. And then the opening hand for the PK Ogdoadic deck going second is going to be Ash, Lightning Storm, Wyvern Berserker, Chaos Space, and Snake Rain. So we see some of the targets here for Chaos Space, which I actually didn't really consider what the targets would have been, but Baby Chaos Dragons makes sense. I do wonder if they're just fodder or if there's like even a dragon package. Probably unlikely that's a dragon package. But yeah, pretty good hand for going second. 2 dedicated go second cards, or 2 cards that are versatile going second, I should say, and then a lot of good engine cards as well. So we're going to start things out with Redeployment. That's going to pitch Dark Ruler, and then they're going to chain the Ash to that to negate it. They're then going to go for Ancient Gearbox as a normal summon, since that's really the only way to actually go for this Brutal Dozer. So Dozer is going to go and summon itself, and then on field going to activate for Tunneler. So yeah, they can go for the combo where you open box here. They're going to go for Stormer. That's going to detach the Tunneler to go for Bullet Train. They're then going to summon out the Bullet Train and then turn the Stormer into a copy of Goliath. And then they're going to link summon into a copy of Anger Knuckle, since obviously you can't go for Ballista once Ancient Gearbox is already out of the deck. Or you can, but it just wouldn't be very effective. Oh, they're going to go for Stormer actually on the Anger Knuckle here to bring itself back. And then go into Goliath. And then follow that up with a Tunneler to cycle back 5 and then draw 2. So they're going to leave just the Bullet Train in Graveyard here, and then they're going to draw into Harvester Heavy Forward. So those are good draws at least for next turn. And then they're going to set Overdrive and then pass. Yeah, so I think this combo could have been done a bit differently. Typically, when you go for this play, when you start off with Ancient Gearbox, once you get to the Anger Knuckle, you send away, well, it would be the box since you would normally have another starter, but in this case, they could have sent away the Overdrive to bring back the Bullet Train. This way they would have enough materials in grave, like once they go for like the Stormer, tribute away, Goliath, bring itself back, and then go for another Goliath, they'd be able to activate Tunneler at that point, and then go for Ballista afterwards, once the box is shuffled back. So yeah, this could have been done slightly differently, but I don't think it would have ended on any more interruptions, at least not guaranteed. And at least this way they have Overdrive into like Citadel, so it's not horrible. It does just kind of make it so the Bullet Train's a little bit awkward here since it doesn't get anything back in the end phase. But they're going to pass on this, and then we're going to see a top decked Water Lily on the side of PK Ogdoadic. So another extender, which is pretty solid. So they're going to start with Lightning Storm on the back row. It's going to obviously be chained here. So Overdrive is going to target the Goliath to destroy it and then summon the Citadel from deck. So getting out the interruption that would have been there eventually anyways. Chaos Space is going to come down next, pitching the Wyvern Burster. That's going to go and grab Collapse Serpent from deck to hand. And then from here, they're going to banish the Wyvern Burster for Collapse Serpent, and then follow that up with Chaos Space, putting back the Wyvern Burster to draw into a Red Ice Fusion. So I came up with this game where they ended up drawing Red Ice Fusion, but not last game. So yeah, this is unfortunate, but it does happen sometimes. They're then going to Snake Rain, going to pitch the Water Lily, in fact, and then they're going to go and send for. I guess they could add another copy with the Nalia, right? The one that adds spells and traps. So yeah, if in case the game gets to the point where they need to actually activate this, could come in handy. But we are going to see the Curse tribute away the Collapse Serpent. So it looks like the Dragon package is there just for bodies, which again makes sense. So yeah, out comes the MonoBlueTron since your opponent can special summon a monster. Again, going second is definitely, the downside definitely does matter, even though the effects are negated. It's just still free body, which matters here for sure, actually, because Citadel can now target either itself or MonoBlueTron, and that puts MonoBlueTron and Grave back if they want to add something, which right now they don't have that much, but just theoretically, right, like especially in this kind of matchup, summoning back definitely can hurt. But we are going to see the Nalia being activated, activated because it was summoned via the Curse, so it's going to grab a copy of the Water Lily. And then from here, they're going to go Collapse Serpent into Wyvern Burster as well. So that would have been in the same chain as the Curse, actually. So, yeah, because it would have been Curse Chainlink 1, Collapse Serpent Chainlink 2, and then this would have been a separate chain. So order was messed up a little bit there, but ultimately there was no response on this side anyways. Going to go for a copy of the Reptilian Echidna. So I actually have to read this card because I do not know what it does. It requires 2 monsters, including Reptile. If this card is link summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0. During your main phase, if your opponent controls a monster with 0 attack, you can add reptile monsters with different names from your deck to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack. Also, you are locked into summoning reptiles from the extra deck for the remainder of the turn. So this is a free search 1 by default. Could be more depending. I'm pretty sure like that's Reptilian's gimmick is to, play around your opponent having monsters with 0 attack. But they're going to make Citadel 0, and then they're going to Echidna effects to add a copy of Nunu. And from here, they're going to activate the Nunu hand effect, so it's going to mill a copy of a Dark Reptile, which will be Zoha. This one allows you to activate the effect if this card was sent from the field to the grave, or special from the grave, to make it so your opponent draws a card, and if they do, you add an Ogdoadic from your deck to your hand, except itself. Then each player sends a card from their hand to the grave. And then if this card's in your grave, you can send a card from your hand to the grave and add it back. Alright, pretty interesting. They're going to go for then the Water Lily, which is going to send a copy of the Ogdoadic Abyss, and then it'll summon itself back. It is 3100, so it does trade with either of these. So going to go and proceed to battle phase. Ogdoadic Abyss is going to attack over the MonoBlueTron. They're then going to use the Citadel in response to pop the Echidna, and then going to go and redeclare on the Citadel. So they actually ended up taking more damage here, since this would have been 100 if the attacks went through normally, and then that would have been 200. So they actually ended up taking 2800 more than they would have. But I guess they wanted to clear the Reptilian Echidna, which is fair. They're going to go in main phase 2. And then going to go for the Nunu in Graveyard. That's going to summon itself back. And then they can go for Elevate as well, since that hasn't been used yet. So Elevate going to be used to... oh yeah, right. The opponent also gets to add back a monster from grave with this card. I forgot about that as well. So MonoBlueTron itself is going to be added just as another extender. But this can recycle back these two. It's only banish monsters, right? It can't be any card. Yeah, just making sure. And they're just going to pass. Yeah, so not going for Verite, obviously. So they're just going to sit on the massive board wipe here. Heavy forward is going to be the top deck here from the side of Earth Machine. So we'll see how they navigate around this interruption here. So the Wyvern Burster is known, the Red Ice Fusion is not. Harvester are going to be normal summoned first. That's going to activate to add a copy of Dozer from deck to hand. And then they're gonna activate the Dozer. That's gonna tribute away the Harvester to summon itself. And then Dozer on field is gonna summon from the deck a copy of Trencher. I can't talk right now. I apologize for that. But we're gonna see an overlay of River Stormer. So Stormer is going to detach the Trencher and then search for a copy of the Machina Fortress, in fact. So not going for Dairy Crane here, not going for the rank 10 stuff, just going for the repeatable extender. We're then going to see the Heavy Forward being fired off for a copy of the Trencher. Then Fortress is going to be activated. That's going to, or it doesn't activate technically, but it's going to be summoned by pitching itself and the Trencher. And then from here, they're going to go for the Infinite Track Goliath, and then Stormer effect is going to tribute away the Goliath, and then Overdrive is going to recycle back Tunneler plus Goliath and another Goliath to draw into a copy of Urgent Schedule, so that's pretty good for sure. They're going to go into a copy of Ancient Gear Ballista, and then use the effect on summon to go for Ancient Gear Box as well as Tunneler off the box. Yeah, so they can actually use the Ballista other effect, which is you could target, like, say, your Heavy Forward, and then make it so that your Ogdo Abyss goes to 0. It targets one monster, right? Yeah. So that's a pretty good way to kind of just go into battle phase and clear it. However, it does turn off Urgent Schedule. I don't think that's a big deal, though. So I think that would be a pretty reasonable thing to go for. Or they just go for the Urgent Schedule outright, which also is fine. So they're going to go for the Anchor Drill and the Dairy Crane as well. So they're then going to link summon into a copy of Anger Knuckle. So they're not going to use Ballista to try and clear this. They're then going to use the Anger Knuckle effect. That's going to send away the Anchor Drill to bring back a level 10 machine. So it's going to bring back the Dairy Crane. So here they're going to go for the rank 10 play. They're going to go for the Bullet Train next. And then they're going to go and overlay into Gustav Max. Alright. I was kind of expecting Dora here, not going to lie, just because it would make it so that this isn't really able to be profitably used. Plus it has 3200 attack, so we can attack over it. But they're going to go for Gustav instead. So I guess on summon they would just use the Ogdo Abyss here, right? Yeah, I mean, you are kind of forced to, but I don't think you're too upset about that. They went through a lot of resources for this. Machina Fortress is then going to be used next, pitching 2 to bring itself. And then the Tunneler is going to be used. That's going to recycle 5. So getting multiple uses out of it this game. And then it's going to draw into a copy of Redeployment Trencher. So there's another way into a, what's it called? Into just Citadel Axis. Yeah, by being able to pop your own cards, since you'll get Overdrive here. Or actually, no, you don't have a Machina to pitch. So, trying to think here. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of ways for 8th Machine to come back from this position. We're going to see Trencher banished to bring back Harvester. Okay, so this can become a Enter Blathneer, which can clear the Ogdo Abyss at minimum. So Harvester is going to be activated to overmodulate, or they can go for Earth Slicer. This is functionally the same thing. They're then going to go ahead and pop the board, attack for 31. And then main phase 2, they can go and make Zeus here. Oh wait, no, they used Dozer already. Yeah, they can't. If they weren't locked, they could go for Zeus and then Heavy Forward attach under it, which would be cool. But yeah, I can't go for Zeus here. They're just going to pass. So they don't activate Redeployment. I think their only targets to search are Metal Crunchers. Yeah, which isn't bad just in general, since it's free pitch fodder for Fortress. But we're going to see a Torn Scales being drawn for turn, so finally drawing PK cards. I kind of hope that they go for this instead of just slamming down Red Ice Fusion, but I wouldn't blame them otherwise, since if that happens, then it's just game. Like if Red Ice Fusion resolves, it's game. So yeah, they're just going to go for Red Ice Fusion. They're going to go and summon out Dragoon, and then Dragoon Effect is going to pop the Earth Slicer, and that's going to be the end of game 2. So I really would like to see the PK stuff. Hopefully we'll get to see it in action here. I just kind of glossed over this matchup here, since it's hard for me to kind of like, go through every single replay that I get with a fine-tooth comb in these tournaments when there's a lot of participants. I do just kind of make sure that the results are correct and stuff, and then I check for future match content. But yeah, they're having problems with DB, so let's swap over here, where they're just going to finish up game 3 right now. And before we get started in game 3, just want to shout out my patrons as usual. So thank you all so much for supporting the content. It really means a lot. And if you guys are interested in supporting the Patreon, you can feel free to check it out in the description box below as per usual. But in game 3 here, we're going to see things get started, as long as I remember how to use Dueling Book here. So we're going to go ahead and see the Earth Machine deck choosing to go first in game 3. So their opening hand going first is going to be Dozer, Double Trencher, Heavy Forward, and Droplet. So this hand looks pretty good for sure. Not really too much to say about it. It can be vulnerable to like certain points of interaction and stuff like Nibiru, but this is not too bad. And then the opening hand for the PK Ogdoadic deck going second is going to be Lightning Storm, Fall Blade, the Curse, Snake Rain, and Torrent Scales. So Snake Rain, all 3 games, pretty good. We get to see Torrent Scales, hopefully this time. I have high hopes for this one. Lightning Storm as well to kind of help deal with back row. So forward going to be activated. That's going to grab the Harvester from deck to hand. And then Harvester going to be normal summon. That's going to grab a Search for Tunneler. They have all 3 of the major Infinitrax, the level 5 Infinitrax, I should say. Out comes Dozer next. That's going to go and summon from deck a copy of Anchor Drill. Yeah, I was going to say, because both the Trenchers are already in hand. So they're going to have to just use its hand effect right now for a copy of Stormer after it gets summoned, of course. And then they're going to go for Stormer here for Bullet Train. And then afterwards, they're going to go for Bullet Train and then turn the Stormer into a copy of Goliath. There's a lot of sounds going on outside right now. Hopefully you guys can't hear those. There's like a dog barking and like a garbage truck. But anyways, we're going to go for Ballista here. Ballista effect on summon is going to go for Gearbox. And then Box is going to actually not have any targets left, which, yeah, I guess Anchor Drill and both Trenchers and Tunneler are already out of the deck. So that is a little bit unfortunate. But we're going to see the Ballista being tributed away for, yeah, not Trencher, but Tunneler. Was a bit confused there. But going to go for the Goliath off of this copy of Tunneler. They're then going to Trencher back this copy of the Harvester and then go into the third copy of Goliath before making a copy of Anger Knuckle. They're then going to Tunneler, recycle back 5, and then they're going to draw into 2 cards. So they're going to draw into another copy of Heavy Forward and Brutal Dozer. So really just a lot of redundancy. Redundancy is actually not great in this deck. You want to see like all the parts of the engine. No pun intended there, actually. But end phase, Bullet Train is going to add back the Harvester, and then they're going to pass. So their only real defense here is Forbidden Droplet, which will be immediately dealt with this Lightning Storm. So Lightning Storm going to be activated immediately, and that can be kind of the problem with Earth Machine if you don't draw into enough defense. But that really just kind of is how things go sometimes. But Snake Rain going to pitch the Curse. That's going to go and send 4 from deck to grave. And then Nunu is going to be activated since there's no monsters. It summons itself. And then Curse, pretty much the same plays as we saw in the previous games. So Curse is going to go and tribute the Nunu summon itself. And then they can summon back if they want to. They're going to bring back the copy of Dozer. Interesting that they chose not to go for Bullet Train. But they're going to go for the Naya. I guess they want to make it so that the Anger Knuckle can still activate and have a legal target if need be, which I guess is reasonable. But yeah, Curse is going to activate for the Naya, and then Naya is going to go and add a copy of the Water Lily. And then we're going to see the Alarit tribute away the copy of Naya, and that's going to bring itself back, and then recycle back 2 of the ones from grave. They're not going to add back from grave. Well, here it looks like, yeah, makes sense. And then from here, they're going to overlay straight away to Dingirsu. And then Dingirsu is going to go and send. They're going to chain the Anger Knuckle in response to bring back the copy of Bullet Train. And they're going to send the Anger Knuckle. And then they're going to go for the Torrent Scales next as a normal summon. And they're going to pitch the copy of Ancient Cloak. And then send a copy of Fob Blade. So I guess they just normally want to send the Ancient Cloak here anyways. But this is just another extender here. So they're going to go for the Ancient Cloak. That's going to grab a copy of Silent Boots. They're going to then summon the Silent Boots. I wonder if they play Cherubini plus like the BA package here. No, it looks like they're just going to go into Rusty straight up. Yeah, so there's enough dark Ogdoadics here to where you can just hard summon Rusty without needing to go into like Cherubini and stuff. So they're going to go for Rusty here. That's going to go and mill another copy of Torrent Scale. And then set a copy of Shade Brigandine. They're then going to go Fall Blade to bring back the copy of the Silent Boots before triggering the Torrent Scales in Graveyard. And then they're going to overlay here for a copy of Levier. And then they're going to detach to bring back the copy of Ancient Cloak. and then they're going to go and make Verte. So they actually didn't summon the Ancient Cloak in attack position. This has come up multiple times. But yeah, you want to summon in attack position so you can actually use the on-field effect to switch it to defense and boost your copy of Rusty by 800, which has come up a lot historically. So definitely something that's good to know. So yeah, they're just going to go for Verte Anaconda, and then they're going to summon out a Dragoon. And that'll just be the end of the match. So, all right, Dragoon kind of did a lot of work in all three of those games, I'm not going to lie. But it was cool to see kind of Ogdoadic doing some things. You know, they were able to go for things like Dingirsu. And we did see the Ogdo Abyss being activated in Game 2 as well. So it's definitely cool. We also got to see them being used as kind of a way into the Rusty in Game 3 as well. It was like totally unnecessary. But it would have been interesting if like they didn't have Lightning Storm and were able to kind of play past certain disruptions. That would have been cool to see. But yeah, this is definitely an interesting hybrid for sure. They didn't even need the Shea Brigandine at the end of the day. But yeah, definitely cool mix of decks. Cool to see this deck for sure. Would like to see more Ogdoadic in the future. So if you guys want me to cast more of this, let me know down in the comments. But that's good. We're going to wrap this video up. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.